حزمق وزعل عشان احنا ما سوينا اشي.
بقتلوا كل شيء، اي اشي بيشوفوه بيعتقلوه، وحشية ولا زيها في العالم، اي اشي بيلقوه بياخذوه.
Villagers say that the Israeli soldiers who arrive shortly after to make baseless arrests are typically just outpost settlers themselves in different outfits, which may seem a bit strange unless you get what this whole routine is about. It's about clearing the area by any means necessary.
Channel 5 just uploaded this. This is super dope. I was supposed to do a collab with him, but he was scheduling it and then hasn't responded. Or I don't know, maybe I didn't check it, but this is Andrew Callahan in Palestine.
An illegal settler within the Palestinian territories.
Now maybe you'll see him with the normal uniform, but in the night he wear the soldier uniform, and he come back and start searching houses and interrogating people.
He is one among hundreds of thousands
of that's the tech teams that I recognize him from the war room.
People who migrated from either Israel or abroad to assist in the active colonization of Palestine's West Bank, which begins less than 20 miles east of the Gaza Strip. He lives in a makeshift compound or an outpost settlement above a Palestinian village with a group of mostly teenagers who spend their free time attacking, terrorizing, sometimes killing and burning the homes of Palestinians
It's so interesting too that they called the KKK
in their free time attacking, terrorizing,
right?
sometimes killing and burning.
Does this not look like a Klan rally from Django Unchained? The KKK, these white supremacists who hated Jews, look at the settlers in the West Bank. Do they have white cloaks on too?
The homes of Palestinians at all hours of the night and day for reasons of their own.
I don't give a So a settler is a person who decided to move to Palestine
from
the United States or any other part of the world because they are privileged that they have a Jewish roots in their families.
Isn't it technically in violation of the 1967 agreement for these settlements to exist?
Yes, exactly. And today when you hear in the news about what they call it, the two-state solution, it's just a
We must chart a course for a two-state solution.
There can be a better future.
France is pushing a three-pronged plan to make statehood a reality.
يعني قد ما حكينا وبنطلب في هالعالم انها يعني تساعدنا، ما حدا مساعدنا على انه بس يردعوا عنا. اليوم الصبحيات دعسوا من الدواجن بطة، وقبل فترة دعسوا كلاب وغنم، وكانوا يجيبوا لنا فطايس من عندهم يفطسن ويرموا لنا اياها باب الدور.
Palestinian communities, brutal assaults caught on camera.
Oh, come on, don't hit her!
Drawing international criticism.
Whenever you see videos of settlers attacking villages around here, where are these settlers coming from? Are they coming from nearby colonies, different countries, from
Oh my God, I'm muted. My bad. Oh my God, sorry. I said that the settlers in the West Bank, they look inbred and they call Muslims inbred and they look like they crawled from the middle of the earth. They look like aliens.
Around here, where are these settlers coming from? Are they coming from nearby colonies, different countries, from inside the state of Israel itself?
You know, most of these settlers are actually coming from abroad.
Our pre-production advisor, who has extensive experience filming settlers, told us that while quite dangerous, we'd be safe around them.
Is that Louis Theroux? Oh, wait. Didn't he call me an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist? And now he's in the West Bank looking at illegal settlements? He's right there. You might find Andrew Tate's tech teams in Israel over there. Well, I thought that I was a conspiracy theorist that hated the Epstein class. What happened, bruh?
As long as we kept the cameras rolling.
Your camera will have an almost prophylactic effect. To some extent, a code.
Oh, when I said that the Rothschild family controls the world, he said that was anti-Semitic. The Rothschilds have a boulevard in Tel Aviv and literally purchased this land from the British Empire. The Rothschilds created the state that he's criticizing. Hang on. Right here.
Your camera will have an almost prophylactic effect. To some extent, a cone of safety because the settlers and the IDF who are protecting them don't want to be filmed.
At this exact moment, he is thought to be brandishing a firearm, likely a handgun provided by the Israeli army at the direction of the country's Minister of National Security, Itamar Ben-Gvir.
The worst man on earth. And so, I don't know what you think. You're saying, like, pray for your enemies? There's no chance I'm kidding. This is one of the most evil men public about their belief system. He's part of the Jewish Power Party. He's the Minister of National Security, the one who said all of Lebanon must burn. This guy is worse than anybody that we learn about in history. But what his rhetoric today is more evil than what we saw in the history books growing up.
An outspoken religious supremacist who believes in the total annexation of historic Judea.
Just say it, Jewish supremacist. Why? People are afraid to say it. He's a Jewish supremacist. His party's called the Jewish Power Party. Say what it is.
as it was once called within the Kingdom of Israel over 2,700 years
Racial
ago.
supremacy.
Welcome to Israel. We are the landlords. They came with much pride, as big heroes. Look at how they look now. Not heroes and not anything. Terror supporters.
Itamar Ben-Gvir taunts activists who'd been detained from a Gaza aid flotilla.
Well, what happened was post-October 7th, Ben-Gvir authorized the release of larger numbers of high-caliber firearms, so virtually all the adults in the West Bank would have qualified for a kind of machine gun. So they were just awash with these guns.
He was also insinuating in that documentary that I was crazy for talking about the end times prophecy.
Kind of machine gun.
Do you remember that?
Even if you hate one person, SNEAKO, that means you love no one. Jesus loved all.
Okay, but you want to spread love to everybody. Okay, you know what? Here's my answer to this. I love everyone so much that I want them to be held accountable for their actions because it's fair. I love humanity so much that evil people need to be held responsible for their actions because I love them. Because if they weren't punished, then more people would do the evils that they committed. That's love. If you really love someone, you want what's right. You want what's best for them. And what's best for people like Ben-Gvir is eternal hellfire. Inshallah. Inshallah, Ben-Gvir burns in hell for eternity and faces everything. Everything that he did in this life, he will be tormented for the rest of eternity, burning in fire. Inshallah. Because I love everyone. Because that's what needs to happen. That's what's fair.
Just awash with these guns and you know, thinly supervised at best.
طبعا هذا العمل العادي يعني احنا هذا بنهتمش فيه كثير جدا هذا لانه روتين عادي.
The villagers say they're doing their best to ignore the kid because taking the bait in any way could be a fatal mistake. The settler, they say, is on an intimidation run, hoping to provoke a reaction of some kind, after which he'll call in the army and have people arrested.
Like, these are the people, like 1,000 of these kids is equivalent to one tier. And you want to like, oh, I just love him. No, this needs to be set. It's interesting too. A lot of people seem divided. Like, oh my God, that's so. Oh my God, you're like praying for, bro. Are you kidding me? Look at the astaghfirullah, bro. And I was saying earlier about Louis Theroux. He was saying I'm insinuating I'm crazy for talking about the end times prophecy. This is the end times prophecy. We're in it, bro. We're in it. Ever since the final prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ever since he was sent to give the message of Tawheed to mankind, we've been in the beginning of the end times. Looking at what they're doing now, this has all been spelled out. So Louis Theroux was saying that it was crazy and stuff, but if he really doesn't see why this exists, if he thinks it's just political, he's ignorant. Or he just likes living in La La Land.
To provoke a reaction of some kind, after which he'll call in the army and have people arrested.
In a few minutes, maybe he will go there and he will call the army, the IOF.
Yeah.
And he will tell them, he will just lie, like people are attacking me and there is also visitors also try to attacking me, so to make it more complicated for the people.
هو الحين حزمق وزعل عشان احنا ما سوينا اشي.
مو قلت له كل شيء أي إشي بيشوفوه بيعتقلوه وحشية ولا زيها في العالم أي إشي بيلقوه بخذوه.
Villagers say that the Israeli soldiers who arrive shortly after to make baseless arrests are typically just outpost settlers themselves in different outfits, which may seem a bit strange unless you get what this whole routine is about. It's about clearing the area by any means necessary. And as for the settlers, they've been given a broader license to kill than Klansmen who enacted racial terror in the American South after the Civil War, with 95% of police investigations immediately dismissed and not a single jail sentence ever handed down to an Israeli settler involved in the murder of a Palestinian.
He can do whatever he wants. He can raid this motorbike or whatever. He can have sheep. He can build wherever he wants. He can do whatever he wants.
And all of this, and I mean all of this, is funded by US tax dollars.
I think it's allowed us to do enormous things.
That really is a great honor.
But on a brighter note, welcome to our Palestine series. You're watching Channel 5.
It's a whole series? I thought it was going to be one video.
These episodes were arranged in collaboration with the Lajee Center in Bethlehem.
This is Lajee Center. Lajee is Arabic word, is mean refugee. We run different programs, projects here. The circus school, which is at the moment there is a training for the circus school. Also here we have also boxing classes, the training, it happened here. Hello, welcome to Aida refugee camp. Today is about 5,000 people live in this camp. Half of this number are young people and children. Aida refugee camp is the same story of all the Palestinian refugees camp. Was established in 1950 after the catastrophe in 1948.
Aida was initially established by the United Nations shortly after the Nakba, or the catastrophe of 1948, which the Israelis called the War of Independence.
The Jewish state will include the ports of Haifa and Tel Aviv.
It began when 5 Arab nations launched attacks on Jewish cities and settlements within Palestine, most of which had been under colonial British rule through the Balfour Declaration, until it expired on the midnight of May 14, 1948.
Britain's civic administration is expected to withdraw by May.
The State of Israel, or the Jewish state, was declared the very next morning along the lines of a partition plan approved by the UN a year prior.
The plan was accepted by 33 votes to 13.
This sparked outrage within the Arab world, jump-starting an inevitable conflict and causing Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, and their Palestinian counterparts to invade, but they were not successful. Israel ultimately won the war, and as a means of collective punishment, they created the Nakba, the catastrophe, forcing 700...
Look at Operation Cast Thy Bread. We were showing this the other day. Under Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, they literally had military doctrine specifying that they were supposed to poison the wells, conducted by the Haganah. The Haganah was one of the 5 paramilitary groups that created the IDF. They were poisoning wells to frighten and prevent Palestinian Arabs from returning to their captured villages. It was a top secret biological warfare operation. Poisoning wells.
50,000 Palestinians from their homes and onto places like the West Bank and Gaza Strip.
Here, 27 names of the villages, which is the families who lives in Aida camp, they came originally from. For lots of families, they're still keeping the key, and even though they knows all their houses destroyed it in 1948, but it still gives them a hope that one day they will back again to their homes.
Do you know which village in particular on the occupation side your family first came from?
Yeah. Beit Jibrin.
Beit Jibrin was just one of around 400 villages depopulated during the Nakba. Today, it is a totally renamed kibbutz.
Welcome to Beit Jibrin,
which is the Israeli version of a socialist commune, completely inaccessible to any Palestinian.
I always heard about it from my grandparents in my childhood. They used to tell us lots of stories about how was life, how many lands they owned there. That's a graffiti, tell the history of the Palestinians, how they were living before 1948, before the catastrophe, as a farmers. And then when the catastrophe happened, they moved them to the refugees camp and they built the apartheid wall surrounding the camp.
The massive wall surrounding the camp was built in 2004 in the midst of a bloody conflict called the Second Intifada. The conflict took upwards of 5,000 lives. The Israelis say the Palestinians started it by targeting police and protests that turned violent, whereas the Palestinians generally
Dude, how
placed
many
blame
October 7ths have there been in the past 100 years?
on the collapse of peace talks at the Camp David summit in 2000, as well as a provocative visit by Israeli politician Ariel Sharon to the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, the third holiest site in Islam, which happens to also be built on a plot of land called the Temple Mount, which is the #1 holiest site in the Jewish faith. Total nightmare.
After they finished the wall, they built more than 7 military watchtowers. In this road here, we have lost 3 children from these watchtowers. Muhammad, he was in his home here in this building, 10th of November 23. He was killed from the watchtower in front of us.
Now the Geneva Convention and the UN is admitting that Israel is complicit in committing a genocide. Do you think the narrative is going to change at all? Publicly, it's declared by the world that they were intentionally sniping children in the head. Killing children intentionally. Now that this is public, do you think anything will change? It's funny that, well, it's not funny. It's incredible that this is public knowledge, no longer a debate, yet we still are going to give them billions and billions of dollars. And if you criticize this, they say you hate America.
By a sniper, he shot him a live bullet in his chest. He did nothing. He was bleeding for 10 minutes. Then the father...
They got the Holocaust card. It's over now. It's over. Wallahi, no one cares about the Holocaust if you deny this Holocaust today. In 4K, in front of our eyes. The world should be ashamed. That card does not work anymore. Declined. While they use that Holocaust to justify this one, you forfeit any sort of victim card. That narrative has been eliminated.
Decided to take him inside the car and take him to the hospital. When he drove down, another group of soldiers stopped the car. They took the body outside of the car and they arrested the father. They didn't give any first aid even to his child. After that, they took him to the military base. The Israeli commander called his father and he told him, come pick your son. And he doesn't know what's his situation. When they give him his son, even they didn't come with an ambulance, they came with a normal truck and he was in a plastic bag and they throw him in the ground and the soldier left. It's not more than training for their soldiers.
Places like Ida were never supposed to be permanent. According to UN Resolution 194, which was signed by Israel, Nakba refugees would eventually be given safe passage back to their villages, and those who chose not to return would be given compensation in the form of a reparations package.
But that resolution, just in paper, nothing changed. After more than 77 years under this colonization, we're still looking forward to go back to our home villages.
I tell Musa that we'd like to see some of the illegal settlements that people have been talking about.
22 new illegal settlements on Palestinian land in the occupied West Bank.
My only exposure to their existence thus far had been through Louis Theroux's recent documentary, Settlers, where he was able to gain rare access behind the curtain of these ultra-nationalist enclaves, which he claims contain people even more extreme than those he interviewed in South Africa after apartheid.
This is interesting. So Louis Theroux is famous for doing this documentary. I heard it's good. But then why is he afraid to say that Israel committed a genocide and still is? I don't get it. He did this doc. He's exposing things that people haven't seen. I'm going to play the clip again because that doesn't seem to add up. He was scared, or was he just not trying to get caught in a trap? Let's go play it again.
Is it true?
Can I ask you a question?
We don't know, do we?
Are Israel committing genocide? You're a puppet. You can't say what you want to say.
You don't want to think about what...
You're a puppet. That's enough said. You're a puppet.
My opinion...
You're a puppet the same way you are for Savile. Puppet, mate.
Savile. Why couldn't you just say it? It's a very simple question.
I'm so uncomfortable using the word Palestinian because I don't think that it exists.
Just the lethality of it and the extent to which the objective of the settlers is to for many of them, it's to drive the Palestinians out. Like under apartheid, the white South Africans, they didn't tend to say like, we want to drive the Africans, the black Africans out.
You can have Johannesburg. Is that Johannesburg?
Yeah.
Okay, I give it to you tonight.
Okay. They wanted to subject them to a punitive and degrading legal regime, but they weren't routinely, as I understand it, every day. I want to be careful how I say this because I don't want to appear to minimizing any aspect of apartheid. But what I saw in the West Bank was a life that was day to day unlivable, where you couldn't really, endless check, hours to get anywhere if you could get anywhere. A sense in which you were just a stranger in your own land.
How much time you gonna stay in Israel?
Hang on, but I don't think we're in Israel. Are we in Israel?
You're in Israel now.
Are we?
Yes.
In the West Bank? No?
Hey, what's up, you guys? In today's episode, we covered the situation on the ground in the West Bank. But right now, I want to turn the attention over to Gaza to see how the mainstream media is covering things over there. So to find out, I'm going to pull up ground news right here on my phone, which is a dope how the nations put every single last channel, put on channel 5.
Man.
5. I think by now, you know what to do. All right, back to Palestine. Musa says that while there are some settlements around Ida and Bethlehem,
if you look there, this is one of the closest colony to Ida camp. It's called Gilo.
Our best bet to get a true candid look at an urban landscape ripped apart by settlements would be about an hour south in the city of Hebron. So we hopped in the car and went for a drive.
So this is an Israeli colony. And all the way to Hebron from now or even before, you're gonna see lots of Zionist colonies when it's not legal according to the agreements.
He says that it might take us up to 5 hours to get there because of the sheer volume of highway checkpoints that have been built by the Israeli military. Today, there's over 800 checkpoints, and their primary purpose is safety, which means keeping Palestinians away from settlements and off of the pristine, separate highways they've built between settlements and into mainland Israel for cars with yellow Israeli license plates. But our car had a green Palestinian license plate, which destined us to hours in traffic and potential military detention without cause. And here's why. So back in the 90s, there was something called the Oslo Accords, an alleged peace negotiation between the Israeli state and the Palestinian Authority, which
was this the OG Abraham Accords?
Would supposedly end in an amicable two-state solution. During Oslo, and for a 5-year temporary period, the West Bank was divided into 3 administrative zones: Area A, B, and C. Area A, representing 18% of the land, but a far majority of the Palestinian population, was under full control of the PA, Palestinian Authority. Area B, representing 22% of the land and mostly encompassing rural communities and certain sections of Jerusalem, was under the shared control of the PA and the Israeli army. And then Area C, representing a whopping 61% of the land but home to very few human beings, was under full Israeli military occupation. Notice I said temporary because all this land was supposed to be transferred back to the Palestinians by the year 2000. But that same year, peace talks collapsed, sparking the second intifada that I mentioned earlier, and keeping these temporary A, B, and C zones in place to this day. What that looks like in 2026 is the...
Does it look like they want a two-state solution? Does it look like they want to coexist?
Dramatic restriction of movement for Palestinians between West Bank Area A cities like Aida Camp / Bethlehem and Hebron, which are only connected through roads that run through Area C under Israeli military law. And of course, it's in these C zones that almost all the settlements exist, which look almost nothing like I thought. I had a vision in my head, likely informed by social media, that most settlers were young, crazy kids on the hilltops like the one that I'd previewed earlier. Yet the colonies that Musa and I drove by, almost every few miles, look more like gated communities in Scottsdale, Arizona, advertising relatively affordable subdivision-style cul-de-sac spacious homes with swimming pools and nearby access to grocery stores and movie theaters.
They turned it into a suburb. They turned it into a classic movie. Was like the Jim Carrey little white picket fence suburb in the Holy Split.
At that moment, I began to understand what Louis Theroux meant when he talked about the diversity of settlements.
I can't say exactly how many settlements there are, but there's a lot. I think more than 100, maybe 200 or 300. And in addition, there are what are called outposts, which are almost like the eggs of settlements, like they kind of in embryonic form, where it's a bunch of extremists, Israeli activists, often youth, settler youth, take a hill or take a little area, put camps up, and then oftentimes the IDF will de facto kind of defend them, but they're not recognized by the Israeli state. So we saw one recently legalized under Israeli law, but not under international law, outpost. That was Eviatar. And that was there. It was a kind of religious nationalist settlement of a fairly extreme.
They both did the same thing. Instead of saying Jewish supremacist, religious nationalist. What religion? Like, what nation? What people? Every other person, if it was a white supremacist, they would say white supremacist immediately. They wouldn't mince words.
And the caravans. But there's other settlements where they are larger and more suburban looking. So at least some, and maybe most of the people there will be either economic migrants, interlopers, like they're people who've gone there mainly to get cheap housing. And then some of them are ideological settlers who've come from America or elsewhere. And then there's even more extreme and crazy ones that we didn't get into because most of them don't really want outsiders in there.
You think they know that it's wrong what they're doing?
They know that the world views it as wrong.
As Musa and I drive,
they don't care. They don't care. They know the world hates this. No one cares.
Take the long way. I'm struck by the beauty of the
60,000 American settlers. How many of them come back into our country and benefit off of our tax dollars? How many? Well, in Israel they do, and over here they go back and use our resource.
Land. The rocky, rolling hills of Palestine are like a gently astroturfed hybrid of the sweeping cliffs that surround Lake Mead outside Vegas.
It's really insane to think about. So is it that easy? If you have birthright, you can just go into Israel and then walk into the West Bank and just take someone's house and set up camp there. You could just go there. If you're a Jew in America and you have birthright, you know that in the back of your head, you could just fly there and start a life and take someone out, just like knock on someone's door, mine now, and no one's going to stop you. In fact, they're going to hand you a gun to go do it.
And I begin to understand why so many people feel a deep, unshakable connection to the land. It's nice, man. As we make our way to a checkpoint, I notice a strange red sign in the distance.
This road leads to Area A under the Palestinian Authority. The entrance for Israeli citizens is forbidden. dangerous to your lives, and is against the Israeli law.
We need to be quick.
Musa says it's been put up by the Israeli army as a way to instill fear in mainland visitors and restrict commerce, and that it marks the beginning of an Area A enclave. Across the street, I also notice a bulldozer on a hilltop that appears to be tearing down a local village.
The mountain you see on top, it was occupied recently by settlers, and now they are setting up caravans. And you see down the road here, they installed the yellow gate. When they close it, Palestinians who own the agricultural lands, they don't have access to it.
I step across the street to get a camcorder shot.
The soldier is watching us.
English.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm taking a video.
For the crime of taking a camcorder shot of an illegal settlement while in the company of Palestinians within Palestine, I was placed under Israeli detention by two teenagers.
In Palestine, the IDF stops you for recording an illegal settlement.
From New Jersey. They couldn't explain the crime, but seemed more than happy to give out the time. If you'd like to see and hear about the next phase of our journey, where I explain the interrogation process, visit the Al Ibrahim Mosque on both sides, and witness the invasion of central Hebron by a group of settlers, head to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/.
Put this on YouTube, bro.
5, where you can also see our complete
Put this on YouTube.
sit-down interview with documentarian Louis Theroux. As many of you guys know, Channel 5 is a completely independent, probably 10-person organization that is almost always being sued by at least one rich and powerful person.
Oy vey, if you want to see the illegal settlements, you gotta give me $5. If you want to see how evil these Jewish supremacists are, then hand over 5 shekels and I'll show you right now. Come on over. Come on over. If you want to see the genocide, you gotta pay 5 shekels to see it.
Make some money from ad reads and some money from
I support it. Independent journalism. It's good.
sales,
I like
but the
Channel 5.
far majority of our working income comes from our Patreon subscriber base. A sizable army of real ones, all of whom pay
Alrighty, dude. We get it. We get it. We get it. Cool. W video. W Channel 5. This felt like one giant ad for it, huh? Are they farming Palestine to go make Patreon money, huh? Are you farming genocide? Because this whole thing is like, dude, what a cliffhanger. I want to see the whole thing. Shouldn't this information get out there? Or this should be readily accessible by everybody. This is not being documented in the majority of any American media station. So, yeah, we need to see this stuff, bro. But you need to give me $5. He put his life on the line for it. Yeah. Yo, shut up, man. You hear that fire truck? That's good, man. Shout out to Channel 5. Good video.